wanted to make one of those philosophical videos and try to express what's on my mind in a philosophical context, I guess. Basically, there's a lot of fucking stupid people out there right now. A lot of them. A lot of really fucking... I'm just going to be honest. There's a lot of people I really don't like right now. It's just... There seems to be a very anti-science movement going on. A bunch of people acting like fucking morons. Big subversive religious movements. Mostly hate group movements. Satanic cult movements, literally. Binding together and creating fake accounts all over the internet. And trying to spread some stupid-ass ideology, deliberately focusing on the mentally ill and the young and the vulnerable and the sick and the things psychopathic cult groups do. They focus on, you know, vulnerable people, young people who have not yet fully developed their conscience yet, or who are just, you know, simply rebelling or whatever. And perhaps adults who, you know, maybe sociopathic or you know, yeah, basically anybody that's vulnerable. And then the victims would be mental illness, people who maybe perhaps have developed some kind of schizophrenia. It's common in psychology, develop religious delusions, hallucinations, auditory, visual hallucinations. All these things are common in psychology. But basically my whole point is science, and as far as people's intimidation of where we're going and God and all this shit. It's like, you know, people's religious beliefs are really nobody's fucking business. I mean, anybody wants to believe anything they want. I don't care if you know, believe laundry detergent is God, and, you know, and he's got angels that are fabric softener. It really doesn't matter to me what anybody believes. None of that means shit, because we're talking about reality here, you know. Everyday life, that's all fantasy. That's very subjective bullshit. We're really moving into a phase of science, which is an objective approach to everything, where science is moving ahead at such a pace that you know, people that are suffering from mental illness and you know, even as far as antisocial personality disorder, that can usually be traced to you know, fMRI scans can trace that down, because they may have post-traumatic stress disorder. That could be child abuse, and most likely usually drug abuse. Drug abuse would be triggering these things. Environment triggers these things, and these things lead to stress. And that kind of stress is usually what the reaction is a physiological reaction to stress, and people rebel and they go fucking crazy too at times. You know, that's scientifically speaking. And people like to question things like the system and all that. Well, we live in a capitalist economy, and we're a republic. So I don't know really if you ever went to fucking high school, but that's basically what country we live in. And I really don't give a shit if anybody wants to change that. Personally, I'm pretty content being like the richest country in the world. I don't know, and having the highest standards of living, like, anywhere. This may not be entirely true, but it sure as fuck seems perfectly fine to me. I don't see the problem. The only problems I see now are social problems based on this pseudo-religious bullshit and anti-science shit that's going on right now. You know, as far as a social system is concerned, I think that the number one problem that we have right now is just with these subservient people, these secret groups, these hate groups, these allied forces, all with their ideologies. They have a goal. They want to move everybody in this certain direction, and like we're all groups, and, you know, basing things off of shit that just doesn't work anymore. It's propaganda. It just doesn't work anymore. Not in the information age. People are too individualistic now. We don't think in stereotypes anymore. People are becoming highly individualized. I mean, everybody has their own MySpace page, their own interests. Not everybody is now collected together as you know, that jock guy. Not everybody has the same profile. Everybody is an individual. And you know, if somebody dies in the newspaper now, you can go find their MySpace page and actually know who they are. I mean, pretty much everybody around is connected in some way through the internet or through cell phones, which also have their own social networking systems, through address books and text messages and stuff like that. So basically what I'm getting at is, as far as a socially progressive type of system, the only thing anyone really needs right now is just something to squelch their worries and their decisions. You know, it's stress. Stress is the thing that we're attacking now in science. This stuff is coming out within the next couple of years. These are goal-oriented software that you use on your cell phone and all that, where you have your daily planner. You can plan stuff years ahead, and anytime something happens, you get a letter in the mail, you have a bill coming up, you put it in there, you get automatic withdrawals from your bank, all this stuff. Basically, all your worries are put into a computer, and then you're free not to have that stuff on your mind anymore. All the general pressures of American life. But as far as religion and all that shit is concerned, and absolute morality and moral relativism, it doesn't fucking matter. I mean, basically, you know, you're dealing with face to face. If you don't like black people, who exactly? You don't like black people in general? I mean, that's just a stupid ass fucking thought. I mean, you don't like individual people. That's just how it works. There is no such thing as two of the same people. Everybody is different in their own way. You can't just hate a whole group of people. That's not possible. You know, although I do hate Satanists as a group, but that's basically their goal. Yeah. But beyond that, they're the only people I hate because they're haters, and I hate haters. They're a big group of fucking assholes. They are, really. They're hate groups. They're all a bunch of hate groups allied together under a singular banner, and Satanists do all the technological shit. But, yeah, as far as God and religion and morality is concerned, it's really, it's not subjective anymore. It's objective. You can find the harm that's causing people objectively. If you steal something, they know the amount of value of the product that was stolen. You could check the heart rate and the physical signs of the store owner's brain during this time. You can find out exactly how much it really affected him. And you're really getting down to a moral relative system that is scientifically accurate, where they can figure out just how much stress was caused in that lawsuit. I mean, based on these type of scans, you can get down to domestic abuses, and all this stuff is really objectively proven now to cause harm. Domestic abuse, that's the biggest problem that we have, and usually the people that are domestically abusive are the ones that are ill. You know, they end up creating ill people because upon abusing another person, their stress level goes up and they develop some kind of mental illness. Statistically speaking, it could be anything, but I mean, there's like if your parent had a history, if any one of your parents had a history of some kind of mental illness, given a degree of a certain amount of stress, you have like a 70% chance of getting it. And there are a variety of symptoms, and you have multiple psychological disorders, personality disorders, disorders of character. Now, these things that they're based off of mean that you cause damage. If you have antisocial personality disorder, it means you have a common thread upon your personality that means that you harm other people, that you do it verbally, physically, sexually. You know, with these things, you can prove it, and that's why we have a system. What really needs to be done is that our law needs to be improved. We actually need more of a police state, not necessarily an absolute morality police state, but a police state that is morally relative, and especially looking out on the internet, because there's a lot of fucking sick-ass predators on there going around anonymously, like, oh, I can harass and stalk whoever I want and get away with it. But that's basically my views on things right now. It's everything is fine with the exception of the mentally ill and the people with personality disorders who insist on going into religion and all this shit when it's an organic problem in their fucking brain, and it's a social problem with them. You meet these people, I mean, usually, you know, you meet these types of people and they're abusive. I mean, you have somebody that's abusive, they're physically causing harm to somebody, even if it's verbal. So, yeah, I mean, just in general, that's what I mean. Religion doesn't mean shit. I mean, the terrorists blow up suicide bombs. Who cares what religion they are? It's psychological. That's the entire thing is psychological. They're messed up, psychopathic people, brainwashed or not. I really don't care. Whatever happened to them is what fucked them up. They didn't just grow up and get brainwashed into this stuff. You know, I'm a firm believer that conscience is something that is developed as a child, And you know, once you're older and you're doing subversive stuff where people get away with doing a lot of crimes and doing a lot of bad things to people, that just means that there's a lack of law enforcement. And that is what's missing, is a lack of law enforcement. If somebody is harassing you and it proves that it's causing you a certain amount of distress, then they can find out, relatively speaking, how much distress. So you're talking about no longer a system of morality, but a system of individual ethics, where I mean, you can have people. I mean, this whole system is moving into a system of individuality. You're getting rid of morality and you're tuning into ethics. This is what Ron Paul was all about. Is how he's talking about states' rights and local laws. You know, that's what Ron Paul's movement is all about. Is you know, if you're an individual, you can decide if you're gay, and there's a certain community that doesn't want gay people in it, but you can move to San Francisco and that's where you go, and you don't complain about the laws in this certain area because that's how it was set for that community. And you're talking about groups of people that share values, and that's where they live, but they're all individuals, and they all might battle with each other, and you can even have subversive individuals that move into those groups and try to change things through the proper channels. But you know, fairness is important, and I think it's important that people, above all, know the difference between insincerity and sincerity. I think that's the biggest thing, and integrity. It's sincerity and integrity. Never believe somebody that is insincere or doesn't have integrity. I mean, people who fake sincerity are usually the ones that go farthest ahead in life, bullshitting people, these sociopathic types and whatnot. But yeah, basically that's it. Is if you could have tighter laws, I think it's important people stand up for themselves as individuals and do the right type of prosecution on people who bother them in any way, shape, or form. Audio recording, video recordings, anything like that. That's exactly what kind of people need, is audio, video recordings, and if people can start doing stuff like that, they can prevent things happening to them, and we can move along into the future here. I really don't want any part of this moral debate, other than suffice to say that it's an objective debate now, regardless if you want one or not. If you don't believe that it isn't, then I think that you should not believe in your camera and not believe in the internet anymore, because really this is progressive science. Everything can be laid out into the different variations of the systems and what's right and wrong based off of economic and social values. I mean, the problem is with the economic system. I mean, if you steal something, you got to pay it back. And that's how it works. But that's what it is. We're a social economic system, and that's exactly what we should continue to strive for. As America, we are founded on the notion of free enterprise, and the reason we're so successful is because we're creative individuals. If we were communist or China or North Korea, where everybody is supposed to think the same way, we wouldn't be as successful as we are. We're supposed to argue and we're supposed to do that, but I'm just telling you is that everyone's wrong, and this is the direction that we're going. And if you insist on not being scientific and basically making fun of the very system that you're using, you're mocking the very systems that you're using, well, you're just being regressive. You're all being regressive, and those who are fighting over these type of things, I think it's best just to ignore them and report people, trolls on the internet especially, and in your regular life, to the authorities. I mean, you got them on YouTube, report them on YouTube. And it's important, there are programs out there like Cam Studio. You record your desktop, you record your conversations. We need appropriate channels for these type of things, and I think that's what's most important right now in our society, is really getting rid of these subversive channels. I mean, you got the biggest problem that I've been experiencing is these nihilist, destructive people who obviously they're sociopathic, psychopathic, major depressive, sick people, very disturbed and sick people who throw up a flag of Satanism or throw up a flag or whatever, But I think you would find that through proper analysis that there's a scientific basis for their delusions and their hatred and their intolerance and bigotry and whatever else that is wrong with them. You can notice these. If you have a basic understanding of psychology, you can notice these things in social systems, and these are objectively proven now. They have been for quite some time. So, yeah, I guess that's all I really had to say. I'm looking forward to the future as long as people would stop fucking with it, because it's kind of pissing me off.